Hida Takayama in Gifu Prefecture, more or less at the center point of the entire Japanese archipelago. Here also stands Mount Kurai, the spot where, in very ancient times, the first of the Sumera Mikoto descended to earth. This is what we learn from the Takenouchi-Documents, the world's oldest historical record. The documents tell of an extraordinary world in which all humanity lived in peace and harmony, united under the rule of the Sumera Mikoto.
These ancient records were handed down from generation to generation at the Koso-ko Taijingu Shrine on Mount Omijin in Toyama Prefecture. They were originally written in divine characters, an extremely ancient writing system. Also called the History of All Nations in the Divine Era, it gives us a glimpse into that ancient world. The Takenouchi-Documents describe 4 eras. They give details of politics and culture in the Tenjin era, the Koto era, the Fukiaezu dynasty, and finally the Kan-Yamato dynasty, which continues to this day. In the very beginning was the Tenjin era, which started with the creation of the universe. During the first generation of the Tenjin era, there was nothing but an enormous energy. The Takenouchi-Documents describe this energy as the God who created the universe. In the second generation of the Tenjin era, matter was created and the stars were formed. Later, the Earth was born and the atmosphere evolved. In the fourth generation of the Tenjin era, the continents emerged, a male and female god united to create life on Earth. The creator gods determined the seasons and gave humanity a highly advanced civilization. In the Takenouchi documents, the titles of many gods indicate their respective talents. These include weather control, farming technology, and computers. The gods also carried out gene manipulation on the early humans to create 5 colored races. These spread from Japan to inhabit the world. From this giant rock in Gokayama, Toyama Prefecture, the gods traveled back and forth between heaven and earth during their work of creation.
The documents tell us that human civilization did not gradually evolve from apes. It came from a highly sophisticated cosmic civilization.
In the final years of the Tenjin era, a young prince descended from the heavens to create a world government. He would become the first Sumera Mikoto of the Koto era, 300 billion years ago. The Koto era saw the start of a unified world government under the reign of the first emperor, the Sumera Mikoto. The Sumera Mikoto divided the world into 16 regions, with Japan at its center, appointing a king to rule over each region. The crest of the Sumera Mikoto, the 16-petal chrysanthemum, symbolizes the world and its 16 regions. The seat of this world government was located in the Hida Mountains. The Koso Kotai Jingu Shrine was the most sacred shrine of all, dedicated to the ancestors of mankind. It was built with a mysterious, everlasting, non-rusting metal called Hihiro Kane. All 5 colored races of humanity visited the shrine. To celebrate the annual festival on a magnificent scale.
Why did the gods choose Japan as the center of the world? With 4 seasons and highly diverse natural features, the islands of the Japanese archipelago form a microcosm, a miniature model of the entire world.
According to the Takenouchi-Documents, the ancient Sumera Mikoto made frequent tours of the world. They traveled on high-speed flying vessels called Ame no Ukifune, a word that literally means floating ships. The famous sun ship of Egypt depicts an ameno ukifune in the shape of a ship. This one is in the shape of a jet plane. A rocket-shaped ameno ukifune unearthed from the Mayan ruins. These various types of ameno ukifune show how the Sumera Mikoto toured the world. The documents tell us that the places where these flying vessels landed were named Hane. This word means wings in Japanese. Many places in Japan have names that include the character for Hane. These were ancient landing sites. For example, this is Chirihama Beach Driveway in Hakui, Ishikawa Prefecture. Hakui is written with the Chinese character Hane. The firmly packed sand of this long beach was no doubt used as an ancient airstrip. The 16-petal chrysanthemum crest of the Sumera Mikoto is found throughout the world. We can see it on the Ishtar Gate of Babylon. And decorating the windows of the Alhambra Palace. These were all created to welcome the visiting Sumera Mikoto. Proof of an ancient world government is also found in many national flags. Japan's national flag, the Hinomaru, symbolizes the land of the rising sun. Originally, there was a golden globe in the center. When the Hinomaru was first created, it was accompanied by a moon flag, or Tsukinomaru, for countries other than Japan. Together, the two flags symbolize the world government. As the sun rose in Japan, night fell on the rest of the world. The moon and star motifs seen in many national flags are remnants of this era. From Japan, the Sumera Mikoto spread culture and enlightened the world. The ancient social system was based on agriculture. People cultivated the land as tenant farmers of the Sumera Mikoto.
Although the land was leased, there was no tax involved. People were able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. In those days, there was no one to control or exploit them.
The Sumera Mikoto aimed to bring happiness to his people, who, in return, loved and respected him. It was a world in striking contrast to the modern-day pursuit of economic and material wealth. People lived in gratitude for what they had, willingly shared it, and gave support to each other. This is the ideal world depicted in the Takenouchi-Documents. The enormously detailed Takenouchi documents shed light on many historical mysteries, including pyramids. The first pyramids are said to have been built in Egypt some 5,000 years ago. In fact, they originated in Japan. A scholar of ancient history, Katsutoki Sakai, was the first to substantiate this. His research indicated that the ancient Japanese had made pyramids based on natural mountains. Field studies then discovered numerous such pyramids. He proved that Mount Togari in Toyama Prefecture is in fact the world's oldest pyramid. Built 6 million years ago, it's a 157-meter-high trihedron. These pyramids were where the Sumera Mikoto went to communicate with the heavenly gods. The Takenouchi documents mention the building of numerous hiramito, a word literally meaning shrines for the coming of the sun god. The word pyramid is in fact derived from the hiramito. The Koto era of the world emperors gave way to the Fukiaezu dynasty. Millennia of peace and prosperity came to an end. Catastrophic upheavals turned the world into what was described as a sea of mud. 2 continents in the Pacific Ocean called Miyoi and Tamiara sank to the bottom of the sea. The biggest catastrophe of all was an enormous earthquake near the end of the Fukiaezu dynasty. This caused a 200-meter-high tsunami that devastated Japan.
These catastrophes were brought on by the corruption of the human spirit. Forgetting the blessings of the Sumera Mikoto, people became conceited and proud, provoking the wrath of the gods.
Records of the Fukiaezu and Kan Yamato dynasties mention many historical religious leaders including Moses, Shakyamuni Buddha, Confucius, Lao Tzu, Jesus Christ, and Mohammed. Moses, the great leader of the Jewish people, had a particularly close connection to Japan. Traveling by ship, Moses arrived at the Hodatsu water gates in Noto. He brought a set of the 10 Commandments for the Sumera Mikoto. These were based on the teachings of the Sumera Mikoto of the Koto era and were aimed to restore virtue to all 5 colored races. Moses lived on Mount Hodatsu in Noto for 12 years. At the foot of the mountain is his grave, the Mitsugo Tsuka, the group of 3 burial mounds. Moses lived to the ripe old age of 583. The stone guardian dogs at Hodatsu Shrine show the connection with the Egyptian-born Moses. The Takenouchi-Documents also describe how Jesus Christ trained in Japan before beginning his mission. In Jerusalem, we can still see the 16-petal chrysanthemum crest bestowed on Jesus by the Sumera Mikoto. Japan was the source of many religions. Although religious leaders continued to visit Japan, the great catastrophe had taken its toll on the country, and its power had weakened. The kings of the 5 races lost their awe of the Sumera Mikoto. The religious leaders were troubled by this and tried to make people amend their ways and follow the guiding principles of life. But the increasing discord among nations was unstoppable. The united world of the Sumera Mikoto drew to an end.
We hope you enjoyed this brief overview of the Takenouchi-Documents, a record of the true history of the world. This record predates our common understanding of history, which only begins after a series of catastrophes that changed everything. There is so much to learn from the Takenouchi-Documents, ancient guidelines that could help create a new world order.